Om Namah Shivaya, Asanist fire here on the way of Dharma. Let us do this. It doesn't understand. Okay, let us just continue. Om Namah Shivaya, Asanist fire here on the way of Dharma. So guys, today for our topic, we're going to talk about a feud that we're currently seeing in the South African occult mainstream, or rather South African game of lunatics. First of all, I'd like to tell you that I'm not insulting anyone. Please, I'm not inviting anyone to come and witchcraft me. I'm not a professional. I'm not a spiritual master. I'm not a guru. So don't come here picking fights at me. I'm just a meditation practitioner, a spiritual aspirant who likes to experiment with spiritual tools. If you come to fight me, I am sorry. I have a fighting spirit. I'm not going to back down. Either one of us will have to go down. And I'm sorry, it's not me. It's just not me. Anyway, before we continue, I'm here to show you I sell bangles in different forms of metals, which vary from silver, brass, which is copper. I'm sorry, this is copper. And then I feel naked already. And then there's brass. There's brass, and then there's chakra bracelets. There's also iron rings. Let me explain these in a few. I also sell rudraksha malas, which count up to 108 beads for chanting. I also sell haldi mantra malas, haldi jap malas, which count up to 108 beads. And I also sell rose quartz jap malas or stone jap malas, gemstone jap malas, and I sell the ordinary average jap mala. So now let me talk about the purpose of these things. Now for the first one, this iron ring is actually a protection ring, a protection tool, a protection talisman. It also helps give you favor in pleasing the Lord Satan, as he is the Lord of Iron. He is the Lord of karma and justice, and he is the master teacher. So Satan can be pleased by simply wearing iron, and this will also protect you from the evil eye. And then we have this. This is to strengthen your sun in your horoscope, and this is also a protection tool. It is also good for your bones. Your rheumatism, your arthritis, this can be your remedy. We also have silver. This is ruled by the moon, protects you also, helps you in seeking balance and equilibrium, in balancing your emotions and balancing your moon in general. I sell these, by the way. I sell all of these that I'm showing you. This is a copper bracelet responsible for the planet Venus, gives prosperity, gives protection, gives energy, energizes your entire body, energizes your blood, and helps with blood related issues. Om Namah Shivaya. This is powerful. With this alone, you can manage to harmonize your luck and fortune to be a better human being in a better existence. Life will slightly become better with only this copper bracelet. Om Namah Shivaya. You have to remember that everything that I'm prescribing on you or to you is not to be taken as professional advice. Please seek professional advice where such matters require so. I'm not a doctor. This is just a disclaimer. This is a channel for educational purposes, and where you find remedies, you can incorporate that into your life if you see fit. Now let's talk about the chakra bracelet. The chakra bracelet helps balance your chakra, helps bring you peace of mind, balance and equilibrium. This is a random mala. Any mala can be chanted with it. This is a rose quartz mala. This can be used for love mantras, can be used for attraction rituals and ritual mantras, and can be used for money attracting purposes. This can be used as a neutral one, can be used for any sadhana basically, can be used for any mantra japa, but most beneficially it's for the Lord Shiva and Shakti. This is very, very beneficial. It brings peace of mind, bestows many other benefits. You can simply search about the Rudraksha. And then we have this Haldi Mala. The Haldi Mala is ruled by the planet Jupiter, helps with spiritual growth, helps with healing, helps with higher spiritual mantra japas, helps with connecting to the divine goddess Devi Bagalamukhi, helps with increase in expansion of anything basically. Om Namah Shivaya is ruled by Jupiter, which is the Lord Brihaspati. Om Namah Shivaya. So let me also show you these. These also help please the Lord Saturn, which are Nazar anklets. They also protect you from the evil eye. Also balance and bring into equilibrium your digestive system. Om Namah Shivaya. So let's get into our topic. I'm sorry for the lengthy marketing scheme. So yes guys, what are we exactly talking about? We are talking about the two Gogos that we have in South Africa. They are actually celebrity Sangomas. What's a Sangoma, for those of you who don't know? A Sangoma is a traditional healer, also known as a shaman, also known as a spiritual aspirant or a spiritual seeker, also known as a necromancer, one who speaks to the dead. Om Namah Shivaya. So these two initiates are fighting all over social media. Apparently, there's one Gogo, which is Gogo Skhotheni, who actually has a sick son or a sick child. And then the other Gogo, who is, by the way, infamous for putting curses upon the fathers of her children if they are refusing to pay maintenance to her basically. So she's infamous for doing that basically, placing a curse upon them. So it is said that she placed a curse upon those baby fathers and their careers almost ended, were almost put to a halt basically. So that's what basically happened. So in this instance, in this situation, it is said that the infamous Gogo Maweni, or the well-known Gogo Maweni, is in actuality provoking the other Gogo, which is Gogo Skhotheni, by saying that she is using her children and her family in rituals of pact making rituals, which are also known as Ukutwala or Horwala. Basically, what's that? Horwala or Ukutwala, I like saying it in Sotho, I don't like speaking that language. Anyway, so yes guys, Ukutwala is in actuality making a pact or sacrificing by making a pact with a certain deity or a certain thought form, a certain spirit that can be sent to cause mischief or harm, certain Bhuta, Preta or Pishacha, a certain, what do you call those things? I'd say a gargoyle, a certain short thing that I've basically spoken about in my previous videos, which is called etokology. So pacts, such pacts, spiritual, ritual, blood sacrifice, killing human sacrifice pacts can be done with the aforementioned spirits. So basically, this is what the other Gogo said, the other Sangoma said to the other one, saying that she's using her family and her children to actually attain fame, to actually maintain her prestige and affluence, basically. So now this one is coming back, fighting back, saying that if you say that you are a witch and you are powerful and you have such spiritual power, you can do what? Instead of talking too much on social media, you can, okay, this is not working. Let me check something fast. This is actually not working. Oh yes. So she's saying that if you say that you are that powerful witch, instead of talking too much, why don't you witchcraft me? Why don't you send some magic, some spiritual juju? I know you, they go juju find me. So yes. So yes, why not send spiritual whatever, spiritual harm my way? So this is my observation of this entire situation. You know, I haven't went deeply enough into reading about this issue and trying to understand it from the deep level as to what might be causing this feud, basically, if it is in actuality a feud. But my observation looking on things, this is just a publicity stunt, basically. They are trying to be famous, basically, just like in other areas of media. In music, recently there was a diss track that was sent to many rappers. It was a publicity stunt as to bring the fame and the attention back to the hip-hop star and the hip-hop community in South Africa. So that, I think this is what's also happening in the case of these two famous traditional healers. Okay, they are bringing attention and trying to capitalize on the attention that they receive from the entire population, basically, because it doesn't make sense what they are doing. If they say they are what they are and they are powerful witches, which they might be, which they might not be, why not attack the other person? You know, if you fight spiritually and you know what you are doing, you won't even waste a second trying to debate and making an argument. I'll make an example and try to link it to my life. It's not a spiritual war, basically. So there was this other guy who liked to visit us. You know, these guys, they like to take favors and they like to beg, basically, to help with certain stuff. So he likes to come, and whenever he comes, he actually does what? Okay, I'm not gonna answer that. He basically comes and asks for stuff, and then he then talks nonsense to try and do what? To sabotage my relationship with my girlfriend, basically. So I didn't like that. So what did I do? I didn't talk too much. I only spoke to my girlfriend that I was going to do something about it, and she shouldn't be surprised. So I came back, went to my altar, and actually banished this person. So now he hasn't been coming as often as he would, and he's also in a much worse situation than he was, because this person that we are talking about is actually a drug addict. So there's certain ranks and levels to this thing. At first he used to go around begging, but now he's looking for stuff to recycle. You understand? Because of what I did. So when you have something that you can do spiritually, you don't talk too much. You act, as in the case of Gogo Maweni when he attacked, or allegedly when she attacked the two baby fathers. She didn't talk too much on social media. She just went and did her act, and then the results came. So why can't it be the case with this current beef? They are simply trying to pull attention from the masses, trying to steal your focus so that they can capitalize on their fame, so that they can trend and become something better than they are actually. So it's a publicity stunt when I look at it. Do they have spiritual power? Okay, I don't know much about that, but according to the way I see things and my perception, I think about Gogo Maweni, I think she definitely did something spiritually to those baby fathers. However, when they speak on a live video, this other one mentions that this other which shouldn't go to a province, is it a province? A country called Mozambique, which is actually where the black samurai came from, Mozambique. So she mentions that this other Gogo shouldn't go to Mozambique to actually pay for a ritual to be done upon her. So in the case of the baby fathers, it is possible that this other Gogo actually went to purchase a ritual for the baby fathers and took the credit as if it was her own making. So if that's the case, that would be why they can't attack each other spiritually currently as we see things. You understand? So based upon that information and what you are getting from this analysis, it is more likely that they can't do anything spiritual. And something I've realized about most Sangomas and those spiritual people that wear beads and that wear cloths and that wear cow bile on their head and that wear powder that dyes their hair to be red. Most of them, the only thing that they can do is dance the whole night and actually do what? And actually talk to their ancestors by a simple ritual, a sadhana of going there to that altar and doing gestures and using different candles to call upon your ancestors. I've realized that this is the case with most people that claim that they have their gods or that have their ancestors on their side. And another thing that I've learned about ancestors, they can be used by anyone basically. You can simply go to the graveyard. If you have a mantra, you can do it at home, but you can go to a graveyard, go to a person's grave, offer something and do a ritual and actually get a result out of that. And then you come back, you do a cleansing, and then you are done. Or you can also not do a cleansing. It's much easier with a mantra basically, because you go there, you chant a certain mantra, it attracts a spirit to you. After attracting a spirit to you, and then you command that spirit by the mantra to actually go do whatever that you want, because it will be in your sankalp, in your intent when you do the mantra japa. So automatically it will prompt that spirit to go and do your bidding. So it's much easier that way. it might take long because you have to accumulate Shakti, you have to accumulate strong will to make a certain shift in events. So in this case, it might be easier to actually go to the graveyard and do the ritual and go back, do the ritual, offer the offerings, and do the thing basically, which is what African spirituality is largely based upon. You can do sympathetic magic, you can do root workings. They don't require you to have years of study and practice and devotion and bhakti and sadhana to actually cause a certain change. The more you do it by way of practice, 2 times, 3 times, you eventually get to a point whereby you can create a shift in reality. Whereas in Hinduism and spiritual paths of the East, which are based on mantra japa and such stuff, you would need years of practice and study to actually cause a shift, because you'd have to accumulate Shakti to cause a change basically. I might be wrong, it might be false what I'm saying, but this is just my observation. And also I've discovered that it's basically effortless to go by the way of the mantra, because you buy endless tools and ingredients for that sadhana when you're doing African spirituality, and basically you are a normal person who just knows how to concoct things and combine them to get whatever that you get. However, in this spiritual path, you actually develop your latent abilities. You become cleansed by the mantra, you become the mantra, and you become very, very powerful to a point whereby you don't require the tools anymore and the ingredients anymore. So you start to use your latent abilities. Whereas with the aforementioned spiritual practice, you are eternally dependent on ingredients, which is also what I think. However, let's go back to the topic about these 2 Sangomas. I don't think they have any spiritual power. It's not to offend them or to say something which might provoke them to try and come and attack me. I'm sorry, I'm not looking for war. Anyway, whatever that you do, I just, turn the other cheek, and then you'll end up giving up trying to witchcraft me, because I'll be focused on my sadhana. Anyway, that's not about me. Let's talk about these 2 Sangomas. So basically, I think they have no spiritual power, and they are doing a publicity stunt. If they really meant or were about what they say they are about, they wouldn't even have taken it this far. They would have just performed the rituals, and the other person would be immobilized or hurt, and then we wouldn't even hear what would be the cause. We wouldn't even know what was going on. However, this might be a way that those events are actually starting out. But the way they are making noise on social media, talking too much, I see it as a publicity stunt. They are attracting attention to that sphere of occultism and mainstream occultism. And I've noticed a trend in South Africa. So many initiates, so many people that claim to have ancestors and spirits, they are coming out now, and it's basically a trend. You find a person who basically smokes weed, drinks alcohol, and likes to party, calling themselves an initiate, going out there and actually partying and then coming back to speak to their ancestors, having no spiritual power, knowing only how to dance and how to go around wearing those fashionable clothes. There's also an incident whereby there's a big brother candidate who actually was dating one of the housemates who claimed to be a man of God, a worshipper of God, but this person has tattoos and he's doing everything that's wrong in the Bible, but then he's calling himself a man of God, a worshipper, looking down on the person that practices their African traditional culture, because that's what it is basically. The African traditional culture, I see no spirituality in it. It's basically a religion, because there's so many restrictions and laws that are largely based upon superstition. So I call it an African traditional culture rather than a religion, because any spiritual practice can be pulled down and perverted to a point of religion and mental restriction. So yes guys, this person that I'm talking about is actually Mpho Badimu. For those of you who know her from Big Brother, and for those of you who are in South Africa, she was dating this guy, and then they had a fallout basically. She's also a personality whereby she's a spiritual person, a celebrity who is on mainstream for those reasons basically. So she has a gift basically, but she couldn't see that the person who was with her for the money that she had won, and the person is basically there to sabotage her. You know, the first thing when you have money or when you gain a certain thing, the first thing you must do, you must look out for those people who are opportunists basically. That's human common sense. It's even intensified when you take into spiritual practices, when you're consistent with your mantra japa, with your spiritual practices every day. There's a certain knowing that you develop, an intuition that you develop, that you can see that the people are coming with different types of agendas in your life. So if that spiritual person couldn't notice and see it, what do we have to say about her? Is she spiritual? Is she trending? I don't know. For you to find out, for me to never care about and continue about my sadhana, my spiritual path. However, I've noticed this trend of spiritual people in South Africa claiming to be spiritual people. They can't even, okay, suppose in this case if I were a witch and I had loved a person, why not use the medicine on that person to come and win them back? Just like the recent post that was posted by a guy known as JD Temple, owns a YouTube channel and is in actuality one of the practitioners of Become a Living God. This person was in love with a certain individual, and that individual is spiritual. Why not do a love spell on that person so that they can come back? And then basically what I'm telling you, these love spells, they can reunite you with your loved one. They are enough to make you guys actually be above those small quarrels and indifferences, because it brings you to a level and dimension of love inconceivable, and only can be explained or understood when is experienced. So do that stuff. If you are a left-hand path practitioner, call Astarte, do that love ritual, get your person back, and then that ritual should be able to propel you further and make sure that it thwarts those differences that you have. So basically, by this episode that we are speaking on today, I'm basically appealing to you guys and showing you the truth that these people are not what they claim to be. But I also know that it's a tough spot to be in when you are in love with a person who has an agenda to ruin your life. It's even blinding and a tough situation to be in when you are a spiritual person, because love in that form is destructive, and you are vulnerable to anything when you love a person. However, when you are a wizard or a spiritual person dealing with a normal everyday person, I don't see how that person can trouble you, because you simply go do your spiritual things, and then you basically are able to influence the person you are in love with. And I also did a video yesterday preparing cow dung, and I posted all over social media. This was actually intriguing for most of you people. Some of you were quick to judge, to think nasty stuff, because it's basically cow dung, and people are not used to this type of stuff. So for spiritual people out there who have a following, there's just some things that the public isn't ready to see, because they are quick to judge and they are ignorant basically. Anyway, this is what I wanted to cover in this video. The two Sangomas, I think they are doing a publicity stunt. They don't have much power, they just ranting about and causing chaos and drawing attention their way. That's what they basically are doing, which is the case with most social celebrity Sangomas and social spiritual people. So I'd like to conclude this by saying that I've come to the conclusion that those people are pulling a publicity stunt. Be careful if you are a celebrity person claiming to be spiritual, going out there and saying that you have a gift. There's people who are wizards who are behind the scenes. They can do anything to influence you, and you are causing and calling attention upon yourself unnecessarily if you can't enjoy that stuff. It's not for everyone, so don't be going out there faking a glamorous life, because you will be tested. Om Namah Shivaya, Asenest Fire, here on the Way of Dharma. Please guys, if you want to consult me on numerological readings or on spiritual topics, I can be reached at asenest.fya@gmail.com. That's my email. I will also link it in the description. For consultations on spiritual topics, you can text me, you can send me an email, and then I'll transfer you to WhatsApp. If you want solutions in your life, because I won't do rituals for you, for you, I won't do anything spiritual for you. I can only advise you by way of consultations. If you want to know about yourself, we can do a numerological reading. If you want to know what's the best way to act under a certain situation, or if you want to know about a spiritual practice that can help you with whatever that you have at hand, consultations, and a fee will be asked from you about the consultation, because I don't think it's cool to be talking to people on WhatsApp, random talk. I have ignorant people that are in my contact list that are there for that basically, so I can random talk with anyone. However, if you are a spiritual person, do contact me. Oh, there's also exceptions, guys. I'm kidding, guys. So yes guys, basically consultations are for that, advice for what to do spiritually to help remedy the situation that you are facing. Om Namah Shivaya, Asenest Fire. Please do place orders, asenest.fya@gmail.com. Om Namah Shivaya.